Well, race number 7 of the IndyCar Oval Elite Series takes us to a road course instead. This is Road America, the National Park of Speed, 4 twisting miles through Wisconsin countryside. This place is fast and it will bite if you step outside of the boundaries around this 14-turn road course. And as we near the halfway point of the season here, round 7 of the championship, the point standings have gotten just ever so tight as Jacob Oster continues to lead the standings, but just by 2 points over Jesper Orman. Brandon Treno drops out of the lead after a couple of bad weeks, but Hamilton Akabueze been charging forward as of late, 2 wins on the season, and after his finish at Indy a couple of weeks ago, he's also looking forward to another start on a road course. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer joined by Finney and DeCuna, and we're back at one of my favorite places. This is almost like a home race for me, being only about 2.5 hours away in Chicago, but we love this place, Finney, and Road America. Just, it's a beautiful, beautiful venue, and it provides some of the best racing in open wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see these guys get back out here on the track, especially with the points picture tightening up. Oster Orman separated by 2 points, and Brandon Treno dropping back to third. And we mentioned Hamilton Akabueze. He's been doing phenomenally these last 2 weeks. 2 wins back-to-back in Milwaukee and Iowa. Now he heading to the road courses, and, well, he's also quick on those as well, so it's going to be even more points potentially going his way as long as things go correctly.
Yeah, qualifying is already underway here, and they've got 10 minutes, 3 laps to set their best time and set the grid. It's a pretty small field here today by IES standards. We've got 17 drivers, which, you know, we typically see the aggression come up a couple of notches when you move to these smaller fields, because there's just a little bit less to lose, especially when you take those big moments. It also cleans up the starts, so you don't have to kind of slow down and navigate quite as much chaos there. Akabueze running really wide on the entry to turn 5. Let's ride on board here on the run up the hill into turn 6. This is a challenging sequence here. Flat part of the racetrack. You're going to push out wide. Use all the runoff that you can. Those big wide curves. For now, they're 2D, but coming soon in the next update, they will be 3-dimensional, and this might be the last time you can run an IndyCar all over those things.
Yeah, that requires a big change as well, the way you handle the car around the tracks, you know, with the 3D curves. You have to respect them a lot more. They can throw you off guard, upset the car. You can see Akabueze getting his car upset through the middle of the carousel, having to do some overcorrection there to get it back in the right direction, still flying on through the kink onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, that was a huge moment there. Big wiggle at over 120 miles an hour through that carousel here. Then all the way down to Canada Corner, northernmost turn on the circuit, Billy Mitchell Bend. And then I think one of the most crucial corners in this racetrack is turn 14, the setting yourself up for the run down the front straightaway. It's a long front straight. Watch that left rear tire in the dirt. And up over the crest, we'll see what Akabueze's got. Christian Hildgaard leads the way. Andrew Marquez, Tim Holgate, your top 3 for now.
And Hildgaard making his debut last week at Iowa, did very well there, was saying he typically prefers and is a little bit better at the road courses and practices anything to go off of. That 5 might be a force to be reckoned with. Jacob Oster, solid qualifying effort for him at the moment. 3rd on the board, just behind Akabueze as a couple more drivers come across the line. I think that was Rashad Craig. He's up in 4th. And this is the 62 or the 52 of Burrell, I believe.
Yeah, Kevin Burrell working his way around here at the moment. This is his first lap, but he's running really slowly. And it's interesting to see drivers run 1 lap and then stop. So maybe they think that they're not going to improve on that 2nd lap. 4 miles around here, so you can get the tires pretty hot and the engine pretty hot in your qualifying trim. But taking a pretty slow first lap around. Christian Hildgaard's back out for a 2nd lap as the provisional pole sitter. 3/10 up on the fields. That 5 car making a statement so far.
Definitely making a statement, and we'll see if anyone's going to be able to usurp that, if Burrell can cook up anything quick. As I think he's trying to burn off some fuel, it seems. I think that's why he was running so slow before making in his final push lap. Might have enough time for a 2nd lap in case things go awry, but so far so good through the first sector.
Yeah, working his way around. While we're doing that, we'll have a look here at the track map. 4.048 miles around here, and it all starts with that run down the front straightaway to turn 1. It's a fast 4th gear corner here in IndyCar. Turn 2, not much really to speak of there. Turn 3 sets you up for that long run down towards turn 5. That's really your best passing opportunity down the hill there. Up into turn 6, though, that's that flat corner I mentioned. The hurry downs, turn 7. Turn 8, another great passing opportunity. Then you have that carousel, long right-hand corner downhill into the kink. That's one of the fiercest corners in all of North American road racing, but easy flat out, depending on your downforce configuration, which is something I'm sure we'll see tonight. And then Bill Mitchell Bend up to turn 14. That's a lap here at Road America. At speed in an Indy car, about 1 minute and 42 seconds and change.
Lap complete there as we look at Kevin Burrell heading down to Canada corner. And see if he's got any sort of decent lap going at the moment. It's kind of tough to tell, but it seems to be okay. I don't think he's gone off the track at any point, so the lap should count. It's just a matter of if it's going to be a quick enough lap or not. He's been typically decent at the road courses up inside the top 5. So we'll see if he'll be up where he normally is here as he's about to crest the bend on the front straightaway.
Just interesting to me that he took that first lap so slow. That seems like a completely different strategy than what others have tried. 42.1, though, that's a pretty solid time. Puts him third, so it didn't not work.
Yeah, burn off the extra fuel, make the car as light as possible, and solid lap for the 52. Looking at Joe Branch coming across the line.
Looks like an out lap. This will be
an out lap. Yeah, he's got just enough time for one more lap.
Paulo Vinicius, the only driver that has yet to lay down a time and will not get a chance to.
Actually, as we're waiting for the last few drivers to put their times in, look at the timing screen and tell me if you notice any name missing.
Well, certainly we're missing Brandon Treno.
Yes, we are. Actually, also missing Jesper Orman as well. So 2 big names in the championship fight. Going to be out and missing out on some crucial points.
And we're also missing Adam Blocker, which maybe that's not as big of a surprise. He's only run a couple of events so far this year. But a lot of big names missing. Choosing to sit this one out perhaps, or had something else on the schedule. But for Treno, that's going to continue his tumble. 3 wins in the first 3 rounds, and since then hasn't finished a race. So it's been a tough couple of weeks for Treno.
Yeah, especially because we know that he is quick on the road course, and of course, you know, with the road course, a lot of randomness. You know, it's hard to be taken out by other drivers. Usually, kind of left up to your own devices, and we've seen him be very quick on the road courses. So, unfortunately, not going to be able to put up time down here as we look at the 5 of Hilgard, who's just kind of lapping around. He's already put in a decent lap, a very decent lap. 3, nearly 4 tenths up on Hamilton, Octavio, and the rest of the field. So this will be interesting, an unknown factor in this number 5 car.
Yeah, here's the thing that I think is interesting is he's on the primary tire compound. So that to me is a little surprising, just because I would have thought that the red would have been the thing to qualify. But remember, do you have to start on your qualifying tires? Is that how this works? So
yes, he did set the time on the red. He switched to
back. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, okay, is that how that should work?
What? No. I think the time you set is what you're going to have to start on.
Got it. Okay, so he's just running practice laps at this stage.
Yes.
All right, that makes more sense. Probably also why the laps are not counted. I'm not sure. The mechanics of that I haven't really fully explored, if I'm honest. So great sounds, and there's a couple classic races every year. Obviously, you got the Indy 500. You've got some of the races that IndyCar's done for a long time. But for some reason, Mid Ohio is one of those for me. Road America just feels right in IndyCar.
I mean, it really does. I mean, he's one of the quickest cars in North American racing, and it can absolutely just floor it around here, go flying around here at absolutely ludicrous speeds. With the walls only not that far off, you know, some parts of the track, it does feel like a street course, especially in the back straightaway. The walls close together. You make one mistake, you go flying off into them. So it's tight quarters in some places.
I'm going to retract. I made a comment to you prior to this event that I had taken the thumbnail at sunset where the new 3D grass looked horrible. It looks really good in daytime. I'm not mad about it at all, actually. But Hilgard still work his way around. Checkered flag here on the session. He will start on pole, and we'll get down to the racetrack here momentarily for the beginning of our 7th race of the calendar season for the IndyCar Oval Elite Series. And again, we've got some other great races coming up. We've got Pocono in a few weeks' time on March 9th, followed by Mid-Ohio, 2 really good races. Then we head to Nashville, Long Beach. We've got our Indy qualifying on my birthday weekend, April 19th to 23rd. And then the 10th and final IndyCar Oval Elite Series Indy 500. That will be on April 27th. And really looking forward to that one. We'll wrap up the last Indy 500 for this league. We'll head down to the racetrack here as everyone gets on the grid. Let's take a look at the weather here as well. And again, freedom units. God, you should have reminded me to change this. I was even in ATVO.
I'll give you the lowdown. It's 70 in the air, 111 on the track.
Yeah, track's a little
warm.
Yep. I'll give us a look at our weather information, and guess we're going to be starting all the way in the backstretch. This is a new gridding location for this track. It used to be just shy of turn 14. This is new.
Yeah. This is new, and I think it's a little better of a location. Gives the field a little bit more time to spread out and get going. A couple extra corners, and it does look like they are not being forced to start on their qualifying tire because everyone set a time on the softs, or the alternate tire, I should say. And a couple drivers electing to go on the slower primary tire to start with, including Hamilton Akaboise.
Interesting. So we'll see how that pans out. 28-lap race. This is going to be a short one. 47 minutes from flag to flag. And pit stops, we'll talk about in a little while. But let's go through our starting lineup before we get too deep into this very short pace lap. On the front row, it's going to be Christian Hildgaard in the number 5. Hamilton Akaboise in the number 7 rolls off alongside him, Finian.
And moving on back to third, it's going to be Kevin Burrell in the 52 machine next to him. Jacob Oster, he's lined up in the 16. He's in 4th place. That
is our points leader by 2 points over Jesper Orman and Treno, who are out. Will not be here for this one. Andrew Marquez rolls off in 5th place in the number 63. Rashad Craig, in some great battles last week at Iowa, he rolls off 6th in the 21.
Row number 4 and 7th place going to be Pedro Blevel in the number 3 machine. Next to him, Andrew Wood, he's in the 64, rolling off in 8th.
And 9th place is Julian Altena in the number 11. AJ Musselman in the number 54 starts in 10th.
Moving on back to 11th, it's going to be Tim Holgate in the number 6 machine. Next to him, Del Zero, David Adams, lined up in 12th.
And in 13th place, it's Mark Murphy in the number 69. Craig Forsyth in the number 99 rolls off 14th.
Back in 15th is going to be Tony Chown in 31. Joe Branch next to him in 20 and 16th. And rounding out your field of 17 cars, Paolo Vinicius in 42.
And he did take the grid despite not having put down a qualifying effort here. But before we get rolling, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, nearby town that this track, the cars used to race before the racetrack was built in 1955. The work of Cliff Tufte, paved with 2 strips of asphalt. That's why this place is really narrow, at least in some places it's narrow because of the original paving configuration. Made 2 passes, and that was it. 14 turns around this 4-mile racetrack, and it's time to go racing. One of the only racetracks in the country that's in its initial configuration, and we are already racing at Road America. A quick launch by Hildgaard, and storming down towards turn 1.
Yeah, mostly single file for the leaders getting sorted out. A couple drivers fanning out. We see in the background if they make it on through. This is where it's going to be tight. Everyone's going to compound on one another, especially with the cold tires. Got to watch out.
So far, so good. The exit of turn 1 can be pretty challenging here on those cold tires, as you pointed out. So far, everyone's playing along a little side by side here. Blevel.
Car spot on the background. Blevel around. Looks like by himself he's going to be able to pull it back in the right direction.
Might have had a little bit of front wing damage. We'll look at that replay in a bit. But for the lead, Hildgaard Akaboise nose to tail in the braking zone for 5.
And a lot of these drivers up near the front taking it easy. And the reason why you can look on the side of their tires, nearly every driver in the field except for 2 starting on the primaries, Tim Holgate and David Adams, looking to start on the faster alternates.
Yeah, Holgate is 9th. Adams is 12th. We'll see what this reverse strategy does for them over the course of this race. Jacob Oster sits 4th. This is where he started, right behind Kevin Burrell, who took that sort of alternate qualifying strategy, the slow first lap and a push on lap 2. It worked out for him. Akaboise chasing Hildgaard, and go back to Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago at the road course. Akaboise there finished 2nd. And after 2 wins on ovals, I think he's set up to perform very well here at the road course.
He knows he needs the points, especially with competition sitting out or behind him, so it's a chance for him to capitalize. Keeping Hildgaard in his sights and trying to make sure he doesn't skate off away. And it looks like other than that incident out of turn 3, a fairly clean lap 1.
Let's see what happened here as we complete that first lap between Blevel and, where is this 3? Look at him here. So here he is on the inside of the 63. I think he's just going to loop it on his own. Just fires up the rear tires and around he went.
Full tires right there being the cause for that, and going back in the right direction, but in dead last. So he's going to have to try to make up for that. Ooh, I think I saw a car off the track.
Andrew Wood went for a ride. The exit of turn 1. Let's see how he found himself there.
Yeah, into turn 1 now, full speed, and I think just the tires still not up to temperature enough, or at least for what he's asking of them.
Yeah, just never
track, avoided.
Just never gripped. He turned in and it just never went. Altona and Marquez here for 6th.
And Marquez being the attacker in the situation, gets 1 spot. He lost 2 spots on the start, made up at least 1 of them back now. Trying to keep Altona at bay. Oh, he goes off the track there. Here comes Altona backing around.
Yeah, this is what you get for pushing really hard early here as you step off track. There is pave runoff in some places, but this is an older laser scan of this track. We don't have pavement everywhere we have it now in the real world, so if you step out of bounds, you're going to get gravel or grass, and they're going to make a mess of this place if they keep doing that. We've seen how much that can affect the grip levels now with this new gravel and debris modeling.
Yeah, the new debris model really throwing a lot of, almost successfully throwing out a lot of debris, so you got to be careful in some of these corners. As Akaboise, he's in the back and behind Hilgard. He's just kind of stalking in behind him, not really making any aggressive moves, just keeping him at bay. Kevin Burrell also keeping in tow with the leaders. See what he can do in the 52 if something happens to them.
Great little scrap here. Akaboise is not letting Hilgard get away. This is intense if you're the race leader here because, you qualified almost half a second clear of Akaboise. How much pushed pass are you using to try to break this toe early in this race, or are you going to save it for later? That's all part of the consideration. Akaboise's got a great run, but he's going to stay in line for now.
Yeah, Hilgard and Akaboise have not used push pass at all. Burrell actually just used a couple seconds down the straightaway previously just to keep up with them. Tim Hoge using a bunch to make a pass on Julian Altona. Down into turn on, will just skate on by, and he's got to kind of make aggressive moves. He's got to use up these alternate tires.
Yeah, there's a lot of aggression here early. There's a lot of passing going on, and little groups formulating here. As we should keep an eye on the 2 leaders because they are so tight nose to tail. Akaboise not really pushing the issue here. He's within a 10th and didn't offset himself going into 5. So how hard is he really trying is the question. As these guys are still fighting for P6.
Fighting hard, and Altona not quite able to get around, but still making Hoge know that he is there and ready to pounce should the opportunity arise. But as Hoge goes through some of the more technical corners, starts to use that extra grip to his advantage.
A little lock up there for Altona as he tried not to get into the back of Holgate into 6. David Adams here at the tail of the shot. He's got those red tires as well, the alternates. And what a great view. You got to watch the aero wash here in this long carousel, though.
You can see everyone picking a slightly different line just to get that little bit of extra grip to go through the corner. And whoa, it went a little bit sideways out of the carousel, and now the Kinko's got to watch out for a little bit of air wash here. But it looks like for Adam, he's able to go through full throttle.
Big braking zone here into Canada corner, and it's a little tricky because there's a kink right before it. If you're not perfectly straight and you go to slam that pedal, you got the rear weight sliding around, the gearbox gets out from under you. It is an exciting part of the racetrack. This is one of the few racetracks in North America in iRacing that I've had trouble out of turn 14. Holgate's in the fence.
He is around, and looks like he's going to have to pit pretty much to fix that wing.
It's unfortunate. He will hit the pit lane. Just ran out wide, got the 3rd.
That's the issue. He knew he had a push, and of course he's going to have to pit and get that wing repaired. He does have a meatball flag. Up in the lead, though, as they're heading off into turn 1, Hilgard surrendered the lead to Akaboise.
How'd that happen? We cut away to watch Holgate, but this was down the front straightaway. Akaboise went a long way around, and Hilgard didn't fight it too hard, drops into 2nd.
Interestingly enough, Hilgard actually started using some push to pass, but I guess he decided that it's just not worth fighting. He's going to sit in behind and let the 7 take the lead and point the direction.
Oh, the new ATVO update. I can see meatball flags now. That's cool.
Yeah, they added a thing where you can see flags. You can see all different flags.
That's really neat. ATVO is our timing software. That's behind the scenes. So I wonder if I can use that as a data binding, though. That's an interesting idea. So I'll have to keep an eye on that for future development. Major Bleville, after that spin on the opening lap, moves back by Joe Brandt, puts himself in 14th place.
Yeah, trying to just pick up some positions here from some guys now that he's pretty much on a recovery drive. And Tim Hoge, though, it looks like he might be retiring because I don't think he had that much damage.
It's a long time in pit lane now, 50 seconds in the box, so I don't know if he's fully resigned yet, but that is a long time to be spending there.
Yeah, I think he thought he hit the ball pretty straight on with the nose. I don't think he hit the wheels, so I think he's just kind of throwing it in, figured it's not worth recovering at this point.
Andrew Wood on the button.
They're trying to make up some ground. Question is if he got enough of the overspeed with the push pass and the slipstream. He will, and Altona pulls out to the right.
Turn 1 completes the pass. Nicely done. Paulo Vinicius, remember he started tail of the field. He's up to 12th in the 42, so great progress here. And some battling behind him. Mark Murphy and Bleville, that was tight between them in turn 1.
Yeah, Murphy trying to keep Bleville at bay while letting on Vinicius through.
It's been an exciting race so far. A lot of battling.
Yeah, it might not be done yet. Bleville back on the push pass and trying to make a move on Mark Murphy now. Battle for 13th. Back race both of them to turn 5. Who's going to outbreak the other? And it looks like the 3 is going to get on the binders a little bit later, and we'll go on through. Vinicius wide. That caused Bubble to have to check up a little bit.
Yeah, the 3, remember he started it further up the field in 7th place. This is a top 10 car trapped in 13th, so he's still got progress to go. Vinicius didn't qualify, but showing some pretty solid pace here.
Moving up through the order and pretty much close to running in midfield.
Love this carousel. This is the dance of balance. You can really tell who's got their car set up well for direction change and where their aero balance is especially. It's a long corner. You can kind of treat it like a late apex.
Pedro will try to catch back up to Vinicius to make a move on him for 12.
Spin behind him, and that's Mark Murphy.
Bad lap gone worse, or he lost the spot and sideways, though he did not hit anything, it looks like.
I think he just got in there too hot. And it just stepped out on him. Oh, he caught the grass on entry.
Oh, yeah, that's what you were talking about before.
Did a nice job gathering it up, though. Could have been a lot worse. All the while, at the front of the field, Akabueze continues to lead, but he has not dispatched Christian Hildegard. He's right there in that number 5.
Yeah, and I think they all know that they're not going to be able to get rid of each other. At this point, they're all just waiting to get off these tires and go into the faster faster alternates for the rest of the race. So this is kind of them just making sure they finish the stint off, don't damage the car, don't spin out the car, and then they can really push on the faster tires.
Easier said than done, as we've seen. Big lunge from Bleville into turn 5 here on Vinicius.
Dive to the inside, Vinicius out wide. Almost spins himself out wide, and we'll get back going, but Bubble up 1 spot to 12th.
Working lap 6 of 28. Laps are going quick, and the battles have just been fierce today. We mentioned the field was a little smaller than we would typically see for this race, but it has not meant a shortage of action. Not at all, but it is a 3-car breakaway. Akabueze, Hildegard, and Burrell. With an Oster, the points leader runs 4th. I really think Oster, given the lack of attendance from Orman and Treno, his goal today is just finish the race in the top 5. Just get a strong finish. You don't need to win the race today. You know, you obviously like to fully take advantage of your opponents being gone, but you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you throw away an easy finish, an easy top 5 run where they're not present.
Yeah, and I mean, he's doing a great job. He's keeping the leaders at bay. You know, he's keeping them within reach. He's within 3 seconds of them, which is more than enough. Should they make a mistake, he's able to capitalize. And again, just waiting for him to get on the faster tire to really start to push. Because it's still hard to push on these primary tires. We've seen a lot of drivers get caught out by them. We just step over the boundary and around the car will go. And don't want to lose out those crucial seconds early on in this race. But since Akabueze's been in the lead, I haven't seen Hildegard really make a move past, and Burrell's just been kind of sitting there quietly in 3rd.
That's probably the car we should be watching in all this. He's lingering, saving a bunch of fuel back here. Just watching these two, learning from these two. And he has not put a lot of strain on his tires relative to the front 2 that are sort of locked in a battle at the moment. Spectator mode.
Yep, he knows what he needs to do. Just keep that car in a decent position until these first round of pit stops, which should be coming in about 4 to 5 laps time, I want to say. Should be able to go around 10 to 11 laps.
Here's the gap. That was Oster that just went through. There's Rashad Craig kind of on his own in a sort of a desert
gap.
Yep. Andrew Marquez is next, followed by Andrew Wood. This is a battle that's beginning to tighten up here just a little. Marquez, Wood, and Altena.
Yeah, Altena's, sorry, not Altena. Wood's actually already used up quite a bit of push to pass. 118 of the 200 seconds allotted, and we're not even halfway through this race. We're actually just barely a quarter of the way through the race.
You know, I've always wondered, why drivers pick certain strategies with using the push to pass. I'm not against that, though, because we saw how tight the field was racing, and I think it's so much more beneficial to use the push to pass in a battle scenario. And we've seen him really in the thick of it early on, so you might as well use it when it's most beneficial to you. Instead of kind of equally distributing it, it really should be used most at the beginning and probably the end of the race, depending on where you are on the racetrack with your battles.
It always depends on the driving style. We typically a lot of drivers like to wait till the end to use it because you never know when you have to use it defensively. The issue is that when everyone waits till the end, well, everyone's going to be using it defensively and offensively at that point.
We've seen that with IndyCar's new hybrid system, that if everyone has the same advantage, it's not actually an advantage at all. You need to leave people enough constraint. That's why I like the unlimited use of that, whatever it's charged, you can use it. I don't think is actually that beneficial because everyone's kind of on the same playing field, where you get something like the LMP1 system here in iRacing, where you can kind of save up, charge up, but only deploy a little bit at a time. Find that to be a lot more, and this is sort of how push to pass works, except you can't recharge it. It has to be limiting enough that it's actually an advantage. Kink is a lot less scary when you're flat to the floor, isn't it?
Oh, much less scary.
So
when you're right on the edge of it.
Yeah, I was going to say before Tim Holgate spun out at turn 14, this is one of the only tracks in iRacing I've actually driven it on in the real world. It was the first track I ever drove at speed on in a Spec Miata. And the Kink is scary at 90, let alone 140.
Yeah, especially in a car where you're pretty much leaning on all the grip the car has to give. All you need is just one part of that equation to fail, and you're going to go flying into a concrete wall, and it's absolutely terrifying.
It's also where I learned that the rumble strips here, they can literally undo bolts. They're that rough. And Altona and Wood trading spots here on the run up the hill. I didn't see how that happened, but I think Wood must have had a mistake here in turn 14. Let's have a look. And AJ Musselman, by the way, has hit pit lane. There's a little wiggle there.
Yeah, Wood got loose on the entry, took a little bit of grass on the left-hand side, and that upset the car, so that allowed Altona to get on through, and as you mentioned, Musselman down on pit lane, one of the first drivers to make a scheduled stop.
It's a long pit road here at 45 miles an hour.
It is a very long one. I think we're going to start to see now more and more drivers come down. Now they're going to complete lap 9, lap 10, pretty much entering that fuel window, so after a lot of them are sick of being on this tire.
I want the good stuff. Akboise is beginning to eke out a little bit more of an advantage, about 4/10 now versus the 2 or 3 that he was nursing before. Just slight gains.
100th here, 100th there, but Hilgard is still over the back of him, well within slipstream range. Big question now, who's going to be the first one to go down to pit lane, do the undercut. Let's see.
They're going to skip it. Burrell's losing touch. If I'm Burrell, I would start thinking about hitting pit lane so I can sort of get the upper hand on these two. But we'll see who else decides to make a trip down the pit road, but not a lot have passed it so far.
No, looks like a couple of drivers like to go a little bit longer on this run. I would have seen a few more takers, but it seems like everyone's willing to go just a little bit an extra lap or so. Make sure they can make it. Over all over the back of Akboise. He's tempted to make a move, but I think he's waiting. Either that or trying to force Akboise into a mistake.
Yeah, it's getting a little tense up here, isn't it? It seems like they're definitely chasing each other's tails a little. Love this camera shot when it lines up just right.
Doesn't often when it works.
Yeah, that's sort of the story in general with those drone cams. 95% of the time you get them and they're on the other side of the facility, and then one time you nail it, you're like, wow, look at this, it's so worth it. I really still want them to do the point-to-point tracking cameras. That would really change my life. But
that would change my life as well. Supposed to make me able to do a lot more work.
Well, what else do we pay you for? Closing in on the halfway point of this race, the next 3 or 4 laps as well. I wonder if there's going to be those that, I assume that those that already pit are going to make this a 2-stop race. Can you get to lap 14 and make it a 1-stopper?
I would be surprised, because they are running a smaller fuel tank as well. They're only got 14 gallons in their tank, if I'm not mistaken. So, be surprised if they will be able to make it halfway, but we'll see. I've seen crazier things.
Closing in the braking zone there at turn 3. Julian Altena hits pit lane. You hear the siren going off in the background. And Pedro Blevel and AJ Musselman, they already were on pit road, but they are in a fierce battle on the racetrack right now with their fresh tires, both on primaries at the moment. It's getting hot.
He was going to make the move. Musselman's able to do so. Musselman on the alternates. Blevel on the primaries. So has the advantage. It's going to be about a matter of finding the opening.
I guess I did read that wrong. He is on the alternate tire, as you suggested. Alvanesius on pit lane. It's a little bit busier. We mentioned Altena. David Adams is down there. Joe Branch is also on pit road. So I would expect the leaders maybe to take another look at this next time by. And for Hildgaard, I like being in second here because you could charge up on that lead driver and really spook him and force him into a mistake on pit entry.
Closing. Because you gotta imagine, all these times he's been, closing, then, it doesn't make a move. One of these times he's gonna catch Akboise sleeping, and he will actually make the move.
Oh, a little bit of a miss there on the turn 14 corner entry.
And both of them in.
This is what I was telling you, that charge on pit entry.
Yeah, everyone's coming in.
Big lockup. Did he get it slowed down?
I think he did. Oster coming in, Craig's coming in. It's going to be very quiet down the front straightaway here. Every single driver is coming off the final corner into the pits.
Things are so quiet at a distance, aren't they?
Yeah, this could be big here. Depending on how the pit stops go. Akboise in, out ahead of Hildgaard.
A little bit of a gain, I think, for Akboise there. It was 8.0 in the box to 8.3 for Hildgaard. Marquez is in, Rashad Craig is out. And more.
They'll yet to have anyone go to the front straightaway. There we go. Now Julian Altena coming flying down the front straightaway.
Really talked a lot about Tony Schoen today. Been a pretty quiet day, only as high as 11th. With the second half of this race treats him a little better. And these two, Marquez and Altena, right out of the pits and right into battle.
Yeah, Marquez is on slower tires. He's actually running again. Oh, actually, these drivers are electing to go longer. Interesting. So they're sticking some of them on the primaries.
Yep, so Marquez on the primary, Altena on the alternates. Remember, Altena was on track last lap. He's got more tire temperature, really late on the brakes into 5 and rolls the outside beautifully. That was textbook outside pass into 5 there.
Yeah, Altena on through. Really interested in the top 3, all electing to stay on the primaries. Typically we've seen, especially with when you run the shorter fuels, because they're running a smaller fuel tank, typically see the drivers elect to go on the faster tire because you don't really need to carry the tire much longer on the run. But I guess maybe with the track temp, these drivers are feeling it's worth it to have a more durable tire.
Long runs too, a lot of green flag running, a lot of high speeds, high load. But things have cooled down a little bit at the front, but Hildgaard is starting to reel Akboise back in. This has just been so tight. This has been a thrilling race so far.
It has been very, very close. Hildgaard's been right. Whoa, Akboise a little bit loose through turn 1. It looks like he has it gathered, but Hildgaard is right there. If he wants to make a move, he can definitely do so. I'm electing to use any push to pass, so I don't think he's willing to make a charge. Burrell's falling off in behind as Hildgaard there closing.
Up go. There. Oh, look at that lunge. Really late on the brakes. Gets it. Whoa, down pass for the lead. Does Akboise fight back?
Doesn't look like he's gonna be able to. So Ilgar gonna make the pass, all natural. No push to pass needed.
Ooh, that was tight at the exit. I said that rumble strip out there is really rough in real life. Turn 7 exit.
Yeah. So Ilgard in the lead. Akboydze back to second place, and the battle continues between these two. Kevin Morrell not having the best of time getting these tires up to speed. Jacob Oster closing in on the faster alternate tires, and not only closing to Burrell, but also to the leaders as well. So this way he's going to try to take advantage. And easy on the push to pass.
And he's going to make quick work of Burrell here, unless Burrell defends. He cannot. To the inside, breaking into Canada corner. Oster's through.
And I think that Oscar knows that Burrell really can't defend. He's still trying to get those tires up to temp. He's losing a lot of time too. The leader is trying to do so.
See the difference there. Just coming up through Billy Mitchell Bend. Watch this again on board. Just watch the gap change as they turn into turn 13.
Yeah, it doesn't have that grip on the front end. You can see it understeer slowly to the edge, and Burrell knows that he has to let off a little bit more.
It's really tight between these front two. I wonder if Akboydze is going to set up for a run into 5, but lost some ground through the middle of turn 1. Too close, maybe? Some aero wash there off the nose.
Facing a little bit, and back now on straighter towards turn 5. Jacob Oster again on the push to pass. He really wants to catch up to the leaders. Was using a couple seconds to get a little extra acceleration. Meanwhile, Akboydze, nothing for him. He's going to sit in behind Ilgard.
Really great fight between these front two, and now we've lost Burrell off this battle, but Oster, last time by, was a good bit quicker. Take a look at the left-hand side of your screen. Last time by, look at Oster, 143.1. That was 7/10 quicker than the leader last time around, so that 16 car is coming.
Trying to close in. So he's one of the few drivers to actually switch over to the alternates. So Jacob Oster, Julian Altena, Craig Forsyth, AJ Musselman, Joe Branch have all decided to go onto the alternates. Everyone else switched to the primaries, or were already on them. So, which I do find amazing, because typically the primaries have been not that good of a tire, but it seems like I guess with the last couple updates in iRacing, it's finally become viable.
We're going to see a nice run here by Akboydze. He'll be on the tailpipes of Hilgard by the time they get to the stripe. There they go. And he's going to pop out a line or stay put. He's going to choose to stay put.
But the thing he knows, the more that they battle, the more Oster is going to catch up to them.
Yeah, Oster's gain was less last time. So 3 or 4 tenths. That's a big chunk, and they can see him in the rear views now. His red tire is quickly approaching. But then what happens, I mean, on this last pit stop, how does that change? They're going to be on the upper hand potentially.
Yeah, but I think what we're seeing now is that the ultimate tires are just not that quick later on in the run. I think this is the concern with some of these drivers. So it's going to be really good. Ooh, as Oster has actually a lockup if Dirt 5 goes off the track. And Burrell is now back in the crosshairs of the number 16.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drivers run this line into 5 where they're kind of straddling that entry curb and just carried too much speed in there, ran a little wide, grabs his gravel on exit. That was a little bit spicy, but didn't lose a lot of time.
And so the thing we're seeing is that the alternate is just not able to carry a lot of the speed throughout the rest of the run, which is why we're seeing drivers double stinting the primaries. And so for Oster, we'll see what he's got to cook. He's using the push pass, but push pass through the kink as well. Wow.
You trust your setup at that point. Akboydze keeping the pressure on. Hilgard drops a tire in the gravel. Maybe they're realizing, wow, big wiggle there. Rules of engagement, I think, at this point. If you know Oster's coming, you might as well fight. You also know he's going to burn his stuff off. Put the gloves on, let's go.
Oster on push pass once more, trying to close up. Akboydze, Ilgard still running in formation, no change there. See Oster and Burrell running third and fourth and behind, then a big gap behind them back to Rayshaw. Craig, no other real battles going on the track at the moment.
Well, Oster's last time was only a tenth quicker than the leaders, and he was 7/10 quicker 2 laps ago. So he's lost 2 or 3 tenths of his advantage each time around. So maybe those alternates really don't like getting abused early on in the run.
Man, that car is yawing out. The way I'm watching him go through turn 5, he's pushing it as fast as he can, as hard as he can.
You can see it understeering too. He's really pushing to see what the tire is going to give him. And it looks loose too, by the way, doesn't it? He's really got that thing neutral steering. For a downforce car, that's a little concerning, actually.
Yeah, you can yaw these cars quite a bit. Of course, you don't really want to, because as soon as you go over that limit, that car is going to spin around. Even through the carousel, man, he is absolutely on it, even in the grass. Maybe arguably almost a little bit too on it.
Look, again, on the button through the kink, and it actually looked pretty good through there. But that's, almost terminal velocity, 170 miles an hour, where you've got the most downforce on the car.
But the issue is that the more he keeps yawing his car, the more he's pushing it, he's going to start overheating those tires, and then that's when you're really going to want to be concerned, because it's only going to get worse.
Saw there, just neutral steer up through Billy Mitchell. This thing is loose, and I don't think he's actually made a game this time around.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the thing, is that he's so loose and on edge, but he's not really making a whole lot of headway. Actually, he was a little bit slower than the leaders that time, but it's pretty much almost identical lap to Hamilton and Akaboise, minus a couple thousandths of a second. He's not really gaining.
About 44.6, that was actually a little slower than the leader last time, so that advantage is going to start slipping away. I think what we're learning is this, I think the primary tire might be the tire to have for anything longer than a couple of laps.
Well, here's the thing. Both of our leaders, they're going to have to use the alternate, and Austria's going to have a primary tire to chase them down towards the end. Oh, as Akaboise hits a big bump in the middle of turn 5.
Yeah, that was a big moment. Have a look at this. Again, they're just pushing so hard, and you don't have any downforce on the car here at 50 some odd miles an hour, and it was already yawed sideways at the, there it actually catches the inside.
He hit a bump because he cut a little bit too much of turn 5. Track saying, please respect my boundaries, thank you.
Yeah, there is now, I mean, the scan doesn't show it, but there is an anti-cut curve there that I think maybe it might be represented. It might be represented in the laser scan, but not visually, I think is what they're running into there.
Well, good to know then. I didn't even realize I was there.
But yeah, it is now. I mean, those anti-cuts that they have at Road America, they are a foot high, and they look like basically just a deeper grooved rumble strip like you see at Road Atlanta Turn 3. And then Akaboise almost wiped out.
Caught the debris, I think, is what happened there. At least it seems to be some debris on the track.
Ooh, yeah, just on the rumble strips there. Wow, that was a lot of...
he also got on the push to pass as well out of the corner, which I don't think helped his case.
No, so that's going to change up his strategy a little bit. And Kevin Burrell has re-caught Jacob Oster now.
And Oster is kind of caught back up to Akaboise actually with this, so I think he's going to try to see if he can get some sort of toe off of the number 7 machine.
That battle has gone from first now to second, effectively. And Akaboise is struggling.
Oh, going slow. Is he going to slow down?
There's something's up.
Did he get damage from hitting that curve, you think?
It's possible, but something is clearly wrong. Oh, yeah, look at the steering wheel.
Oh, no.
There is something broken on this car. It might loop on him here. Oh, Oster's sideways as well. There's something very odd happening with Akaboise's car.
Yeah, he continued for a little while after that. That's why I didn't think there was anything really wrong with that 7 car. Let's see, this caught some debris or overheated the tire or something's up in a mess, but I'm trying to see if we can get it just at least stable because it's still way too early to pit.
David Adams, Andrew Wood passed for 8th. Greg Forsyth in here as well. A little lock up there for the 0-0. Does anyone short pit? Make the Paul Iglesias, where'd he go?
That is a great question. Nope, he's back kind of entering discontinuity. He is back on the track. Still at 13.
No. Still, I think Oster, look at how much it looks like Max Verstappen at Zandvoort last year. He's got to put in like stock car levels of steering lock to get it to turn, and then because he's got all that wheel put in it, it just wants to walk on it.
Yeah, I wonder, like you mentioned, maybe short pitting, that might be might be a move to make here, because I think he's kind of used up everything these alternates have, and we're in the pit window. We can make it to the end if he pit now and continue it out on the primaries. But we'll see at the points leader what he's going to decide to do. He's got Kevin Burrell and Hamilton Akaboise, for that matter, breathing down his neck.
Akaboise just ran a 147.1. That is significantly off the pace. So we'll see if he can get back up on the horse here. Altona and Marquez, and then Andrew Wood and Adams are back at it.
Getting their battle for position through turns 1 and 2, and now to turn 3.
Musselman on pit lane. This will be his final stop. He'll go back, I assume, to the primary tires. He's on the alternate now. Andrew
Wood using the push pass stay away. You saw Andrew Marquez staying ahead of Julian Altona, and then back here, battle for second place. Kevin Burrell all over the back of Oscar.
Really, really close. See if he can draft up to the 16 and have a look into Canada corner, or if he'll sit and wait for maybe the front straightaway opportunity.
Oscar using the push pass, keep the distance, going defensive though.
Watch the exit. Much better power down by Burrell.
Yeah, I think Oscar, he's kind of has to pit. He's got to make a decision here, because that car's going out, man. All over the rear end, all over the place. And into the final corner, but he's got to make a decision sooner rather than later, and there he goes. He decides to pit. Burrell staying out on the track.
Into the box. That was probably good timing. Burrell stays out.
Akaboise slow on the straightaway, man. He is something.
Yeah, last time was a 150. And he's
slow on the straightaway, which is what I thought.
Over. I think that is race over for Akaboise. Something's amiss.
Huh.
Yeah, whenever since he hit that curb at turn 5, that just didn't drive the same.
He's going. The interesting thing is when he holds the wheel straight, he's going straight. I'm wondering if maybe something in his sim got messed up.
That could be.
Like on his rig.
Yeah, like it just got out of alignment or something.
Yeah, and that's throwing him off, because I mean, obviously you can't really fix that. But while you're driving, especially at pace as fast as here,
it's a real shame. Led a bunch of laps, and maybe he'll try to get back out there, but it's not going to be a podium finish like he was setting up to do.
Yeah, no, I think I'm surprised he didn't just come into the pits and maybe try to diagnose it or something, keep him in going. But to pull off on the track, it is going to cost him a lot of points, and he really, really needed to get a win or a top 3, top 5 to stay in that point picture.
Christian Hildgaard only has 1 start so far. It was last time out at Iowa. This is only his 2nd start of the season. He finished 3rd there. And so this is a driver that, you look at, it's unlikely he'll win the championship because of the late start, but if you look at a driver that could upset, the balance of things that are happening currently, this is a driver I'd circle. He could definitely medal in the championship fight if he's taking wins away from the championship favorites.
And interestingly enough, Jacob Oster's out of the pits, but back on the alternates. Decided to go double on the alternates, not the primaries, which what he thought he would have done.
I don't actually hate that. He did make up ground on the leader, so I don't hate that strategy. It looked hard.
Yeah. I mean, well, at this point, with the way they're running, they're all running long. So, this will be interesting to see how this kind of all comes to a head here with all these different strategies. As we're going to start getting the next wave of pit stops. Andrew Wood into the pits, as well as Julian Altona.
David Adams in the 00 as well. That trio heads to pit lane. And we're going to only be 7 laps to go here at the end of this. So, I think it looked like the optimal amount of time on the alternates was 4 to 5 laps. So if you could stick it out a few more, it'd be a nice quick run to the end.
Yeah, he should be able to go in. They were able to complete 11 laps. So Hildgaard can go out about another 2, I want to say. So that puts him kind of right in that window for a quick run on the Reds to the end. And I think he can now rest the second, or should say third part of this race a little easier now that his main competitor is out of the picture. Pedro Bubble closing in on Craig Forsyth for 8th place.
Pedro's had an interesting day. You remember, started 7th, had that spin on the opening lap, and he's really been digging himself out of that hole. He's not quite back to where he qualified, but he is 9th, and there are still 5 drivers ahead that owe us a pit stop, so he might come out sort of better than we anticipated, all things considered.
Yeah, it was a great recovery drive nonetheless for him. He can keep this going. He's got Craig Forsyth and Alton ahead, of both of which have just come out of the pit, so these guys are fighting to the end. The three-way battle for 7th place at the moment. Like you mentioned, more drivers still yet to pit.
Wood and David Adams, these two have gone back and forth a number of times this race. See if Adams is going to send a lunge down here into 12. Nope, on the brakes earlier. Wow, and you saw Wood really charged the corner. Adams got a little hot into it. Huge wiggle there for the 64. I just, the amount of drivability these cars have, where you can really hang them out on the edge and not immediately die, that's great.
It's great. I'm seeing a lot of more green flashes on my ticker showing that a lot of more drivers are on the push to pass, so saved up the resource, now starting to use it. Some drivers have not touched it at all. Tony Shallen, he's not used up a single second to push to pass this entire race.
That's interesting. He hasn't really been in a lot of battles where you would be on it necessarily, but again, I would find the most efficient use of it to be right at the beginning and right at the end. Especially at the beginning. Like, why not use some up when you're in such tight proximity with other drivers? But here comes Blundell down the inside of Forsyth. See if he can. He psyched him out. Forsyth's hot.
Took the bait. There he goes up the inside now into turn 6. Gonna be tight. Ooh, contact as well between them, and I think that might be damage to Blundell. Nope, looks like the wing's back.
Yeah, that was a great move there, just to force Forsyth to overshoot. Had him looking in the rear view. Come up to turn 6 here, just gets a little tight. That's an easy place to do that. Just minor wheel-to-wheel contact. That's gotten me a number of times. And leaders in pit lane, Hildgaard and Burrell.
And Hildgaard off and away on the alternates, and Burrell much the same. And Jacob Oster back out in 2nd place now, and he is 2.5 seconds behind Hildgaard.
Yeah, but 3 laps on his tires. He's got to make him last 5 more. And we know that we started to see his performance kind of even back out with the primaries around 5 laps in. So I don't know that he's got the upper hand necessarily, although his tires are warmed up. So we'll probably see him get a little bit more gain on this lap.
Yeah, a little bit more, but after that, I think it's going to be more or less hook, line, and sinker. Unless Hildgaard makes a big mistake while the tires are still warming up, that could be the potential thing that ends his race, or ends his chance at a win here, but we'll see how carefully he gets them up to speed.
Now that we've got pit stops complete, at least for everyone but Mark Murphy and Tony Shallen, move on to the battles that are reformulating. Andrew Marquez, Julian Altena. This is for 5th place. Altena quietly working his way forward, 9th to 6th tonight.
Caught up to Andrew Marquez here. Battle for 5th. Altena trying to get up and ready to go. Marquez out of the pits fresh on these red tires. Altona 2 laps on his, and then behind about almost 3 seconds, Pedro Bubble in 7th place, who's effectively where he started. 23 laps of Road America. Get back to where you started. All right, you got a 7-lap race, 6-lap race now to get back what you can. That's frustrating, but I mean, it's even more frustrating because he doesn't have a lot of push-pass left. Only 29 seconds left. Yeah. And well, his competitors in behind him have some more in sync, so they're going to be all over him for 7th place. Could have been a wreck though, so got away with that. About 5 laps to go here. 8 minutes left on the clock. Craig Forsyth, Andrew Wood. This is down to Canada corner. A lot of debris over here on the entry. If you run wide, you're going to go for a ride. And for the most part, everyone's been respecting it, but now down to the wire here, everyone's going to be pushing more, going to be using up more and more of the track. You got to be careful, got to watch your limits. You throw it all away here in these last few laps. It's so easy to do too. You just run half a lane too wide, grab the marbles, end up in the gravel. And with how much more effective gravel and grass and debris has been. Here's a lunge from Wood. Is he going to send it? He does down the inside of Forsyth, but backs out before the corner. It's going to cost him a ton of time on the exit. Thought about making it, was so close to doing it, but figured he didn't have enough of chance of getting it done. It's so hard to get it done on that inside in turn 1.
That's a siren song there. You see the door wide open. It's just not as slow of a corner as you would think it is. In a stock car, you have to slow way down. It's a second gear turn. With a car with downforce, though, it's 4th gear. It's a huge commitment. You've got to use all the width of the racetrack. And sometimes it's just wiser to wait for your second gear corner opportunity down at turn 5.
Christian Hildgaard, he is flying through the last part of the racetrack, getting back on the straightaway. I think we're going to see the fastest lap here. He is 6+ seconds ahead of Jacob Oster.
Yeah, trying to figure out how he got that much of a gap. Did Oster have a mistake? He was only 2.6 back.
He also used up, I think, around 60 seconds to push past, so I think that'll help.
That'll help.
Yeah, 143.1 there for Hildgaard.
Now the focus is going to be for second, with Oster on slightly older alternate tires. Burrell 2 laps on his, Oster 5 on his.
Again, Burrell looking for a really solid finish here to make it even better. He's already got the podium, but one more spot, extra points for him.
And he's 5th in the standings right now, coming off a top 5 back in Iowa. He's been top 5 in every race except the Milwaukee Mile, including Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the last road course we ran. He's all over Oster, heading into turn 5, looks to driver's right. Going to try to outbrake him on the outside, over-under potentially.
Oh,
here he comes.
Up and sideways for Oster.
What a battle this is. Into turn 6, Burrell and Oster for second place. A little bit of a slip and slide. Burrell's through.
Look at that, bro. Fantastic move there, getting past the points leader.
Oof, that was tight racing.
But I think he knew that Oster, he pushed his stuff a little bit too hard, and I think he knew that was going to happen. Worked out exactly how he would have liked it to turn out. So great job done. He's already pulling away as well. So Burrell's got some decent speed here. And he's got 182 seconds to push fast left. So if he needs to use it, he's got it. And meanwhile, behind the top 3, a massive gap, 21 seconds back to Rayshon Craig, we've not really talked about.
Rayshon Craig has just been in purgatory tonight. He's just been.
I mean, you know what? You know what? Sometimes those are the best days because he's going to come home with a 4th place finish +2 from where he started. I mean, that's all he could really ask for. Didn't have to deal with a whole lot today, nothing dramatic, and just a solid result.
Well, everyone should be noting this 21 car, and I know we didn't really talk about him a lot today, but he's doing very well in the point standings, and we should take note that he had a 12th at Homestead, a 30th at Gateway, 22nd at Indy, but then 8th, 7th, 6th, and now this would be a 4th if he can finish it out. And that tells me this is going to be a podium driver next time out.
Yeah, it'll be his first top 5 of the season if he can keep it going in the right direction. So solid end to his day potentially. But meanwhile, looking at Level, Craig Forsyth, their battle starting to heat up for 7th place. We talked about Level having to be on the defensive. Well, here he is. He's got 2 drivers knocking on his door.
Yeah, Forsyth's going to have a nice big run here. Andrew Wood's going to watch all this from behind, maybe try to pick the pocket when they go through turn 1 side by side. Is anyone going to back out? They will not. Side by side into 1, and Wood's going to have an opportunity to steal maybe 1, maybe 2.
Now Forsyth there, it slowed him down. Here comes Wood taking advantage of the situation. To the inside, turn 3. Forsyth loose on the marbles, and around he goes.
That's frustrating for Forsyth.
He'll save it, but lose another spot at David Adams. Back to 10th for the 99.
Yeah, just on the offensive and then just caught the grass on corner entry. AJ Musselman.
Level. Oh.
Paulo Vinicius, this is for 11th. Getting a little spicy here.
Yeah, nice battle for him at the end of the race. Musselman trying to roll off the 42. Different with tires too. Musselman on the primaries, Vinicius on the alternates.
Yeah, but he's 5 laps into the alternates, which is when the advantage starts to bail out. Musselman was quicker last time around. But all the while, Christian Hildgaard, 2 laps to go, 9.3 second lead. This is a dominant performance, and this is a head-turning one. We have more road courses on the calendar this year, and if he can do this every time. I mean, we have Jacob Oster as a great reference point, you know, because he's right up at the pointy end all the time on the road races. So you can rest assured that where Oster and Burrell are is sort of the standard for this series. So if Hildgaard comes out in his second event, crushes everyone by 10 seconds, that's a head-turning performance.
Definitely is, and I think he's a little bit too late to the party for any chance at the championship, but he's definitely going to be a thorn in the side for a lot of these championship runners. Guys like Oster, Aquilese, Torino, and Orman all looking to get the wins. They're going to have to deal with this 5-car just getting out there and trying to dominate everything.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a driver to watch. And like I said, because he's not really involved in that points battle, he's racing for a very different reason. A perfectly valid reason, but not necessarily going to be championship material just because of the late start. I suppose anything's possible, but he's back 244 points. So that's
a big hole, but hey, never know.
Does this every week, maybe we would see a change.
Nation's looking to the inside of Musselman into turn 5, and he will get the spot. Question is, can he keep it?
Made that look easy. I do wonder about the tire performance he's got. Musselman was a little off last time. I don't know that that's his normal pace. The white flag is out as Hildgaard storms by the start-finish line. Last time around here.
Yeah, really did everything he needed to do. Just get out there, didn't make any mistakes. Still really curious of what happened to Hamilton Aquilese, what exactly finished off his day as we look at these two almost side by side through the kink there. That was definitely not going to work if they did.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it flat on your own when you're side by side like that. Discretion is the better part of valor, I think.
Neither driver looking to give this up here, so they're going to have one more lap around with one another to sort this out and who's going to take home 11th place.
Vinicius still struggling with that internet connection.
Oh, he's gone, actually. He actually dropped connection, so that's said and done there.
Battle over. That's not how anyone wants to end it. That's for on the last lap, too, or coming to it at least. That's frustrating.
Yeah. Whoa, that's gonna be the only thing that could stop Hildgaard at this point.
Tony Schowen ran wide at the kink, kicked up a bunch of grass right in front of Hildgaard. Just 2 corners left for the number 5, and only his second start in the Indy Elite Series. What a performance.
Ooh, gotta be careful here. Working on the lap car, Schowen letting him on by. And there he goes.
Out of the final corner after 28 laps and only his second start in the series. It was a podium at Iowa, but the Midwest has been claimed by Christian Hildgaard, winning at Road America. What a dominant performance by the number 5 of Christian Hildgaard. Made that one look easy in the last run to the end. Kevin Burrell, second place in the number 52. A huge boost of momentum for him. Jacob Oster, the points leader. That'll be a great points day for him.
Yeah, really, the top 3 all great runs for them, especially Burrell, just continuing that consistency for him. Then we got to go a little bit ways back to Rayshad Craig. Another solid run for the 21. It'll be his first top 5 finish of the season as he rounds out of the final corner and up the hill.
Quiet day, but a good one. P4. And Andrew Marquez, 8 seconds behind him. Didn't really talk about him a ton, but started 5th, finished 5th.
And also first top 5 for the 63.
Julian Altena, P6 after starting 9th. Pedro Blebel. It was a busy day, but he got back to where he started. Andrew Wood 8th, David Adams 9th, Craig Forsyth in 10th. Musselman, Murphy, and Branch finishing out the runners on the lead lap. Down at turn 5, celebrations in order.
Look at that. So he's had some practice.
I will bet that he will get more. Wow. Those are pretty cars, aren't they? Let's have a look at our race results here. We just kind of walked you through most of them as they crossed the line, but Christian Hildgaard, this is going to be a dangerous driver just to steal wins away from the championship hopefuls. And what a performance, 10 seconds clear of the rest of the field. That just doesn't happen with how competitive this series is.
Yeah, and he expanded it out greatly. He expanded out 7.5 seconds or 7 seconds in the last 5 to 6 laps. So he's definitely a very quick driver, definitely one to watch for everyone else for the rest of this season. Kevin Burrell, solid finish for him, getting himself closer back into the points battle, and Jacob Oster as well, rounding out top 3.
Yeah, looking down Rashad Craig, again, a quiet day, but sometimes those are your best ones. P4, great points. Andrew Marquez, first top 5. Julian Altena, Pedro Blebel, Andrew Wood, David Adams, Craig Forsyth, the rest of your top 10. Looking down the order, Musselman, Murphy, Joe Branch. Tony Shallow, we didn't really see a lot of him today on the road course. I think that's a concern potentially. The next time we head out, Mid-Ohio will be the next one on the schedule, I believe. Paul Vinicius drops out of the internet just at the tail end. Hamilton Akabueze with a mechanical problem, and Tim Holgate out in a crash on lap number 3. Well, Jacob Oster comes home in 3rd place in the number 16 car, and a great points day. Wasn't quite maybe as good as you wanted with the absence of a couple of the key players in the championship battle, but this was a great day to just grab some points and move on. And you had a great battle there with Kevin Burrell. Take us through your night here at Road America.
Oh, I mean, I think other than a win, that was perfect for me in the point situation with Hamilton having a problem just for not being here and Fernando bowing out. Like, that gap just got pushed wide open, and I'm very, very happy with that.
Yeah, certainly at this stage of the season, things are looking good for you. But as we look across the rest of the calendar, we bounce between ovals and road courses, and the Triangle of Pocono coming up not too far from now. It's actually our next round on March 9th. Where do you feel like you're stronger? Is it the road courses or those oval tracks that you think you'll have the best runs on here in the next couple of weeks?
I definitely feel like I'm probably one of the best at Pocono, especially in the fixed cars or even in the open. I just really gel well with that place, and I have done really well there in the past. Mid-Ohio, I learned a lot in the Pro Series, and I look forward to applying that because my race set is pretty ballin' right now, I think. But we'll just see. Long Beach is also good. Indy is Indy. I always feel confident there. Nashville is a track that I don't like to think exists.
Well, pretty ballin' is how I describe the season so far. Every race a top 10 with the exception of the IMS road course. Things are looking up, Jacob. Thanks for talking to us. Nice run tonight in that number 16. We'll see you around.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Kevin Burrell in the number 52, a strong night. Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
how are you?
Sorry.
You're good. We wanted to chat with you. P5 of the points coming into the night. It's been a really strong season for you, save for the 17th at Milwaukee. But things are looking up. Great run tonight. Great battle there with Jacob in the closing stages. I mean, you're closing in on a victory, I think, with how you've been running as of late.
We'll see. I mean, Christian's obviously always really fast, and so is Jacob. And we worked a little on the set this time around. Just Road America. Any track that's not max rear downforce is always. I don't want to say it's a super weakness for us, but it's something we don't really feel that confident on. I feel, and in the end, I think we landed on a good balance today. That was very sketchy, but it was good.
The balance between the alternate and the primary tires has always been a discussion on these road courses with this current IndyCar rules package. Did you learn anything today that you can apply to Mid-Ohio next time when we head there as our next road course?
Yes. Apparently the answer is remember that you remapped your push-to-pass button to a completely different button on your rim. May have had a major user error today. But other than that, I mean, actually, I was surprised. The alts held on better than I expected. I mean, they were still, obviously, I think the Prime was very heavily preferred here. But, I mean, if anything, I was interested that Jacob went for the double alt strat. We didn't even really consider it from the start. So maybe it's a difference in the sets. Hard to say.
Well, things are looking up for you. 2nd place here at Road America. Pocono in a couple of weeks. The Tricky Triangle. We'll see you there, Kevin. Good luck.
Yeah, see you around.
Christian Hildgaard in only his 2nd start in this series this season. Victory at Road America, and not by a little bit. He didn't really leave him any chance in that last run. Boy, there was some great fights there earlier with Hamilton Akabueze, but once the drama there cleared up, it was just home free sailing and 2 podiums in your first 2 starts. A little bit of a late start to this season, but man, you're going to be hard to beat. Take us through your night and the battles that you had.
Yeah, I mean, battles are maybe overselling it a bit. Hamilton's my teammate, and we're just kind of working together. I think when Hamilton initially passed, I was going to go on P2P. We're trying to break toe as a team, back to Jacob and Kevin, obviously also being on fiercely forward. But I mapped my push to pass 14 seconds before the race and hit my clutch instead. So Hamilton went through, just sat behind for the first stint, and then I figured, let's make it look like we're having a fight by passing back in the second stint. But then obviously Hamilton having technical issues, and Kevin as well, made it a very straightforward race for me, which honestly is a shame. I was looking forward to having a fun race here. It's very difficult to break toe, so yeah, it's one of those where I was expecting a fight, and whether it's first, second, or third, it would have been a fun one, but in the end, a pretty boring, straightforward first place, which, I'll take it. Can never be too unhappy with the first, but was expecting something different for sure.
Given your late start to the entries this season, how do you approach battling those that are in that championship battle when we move forward? Pocono next time out, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Are you going to, do you race them any differently, or is it just all about, kind of playing the field based on the scenario that you're in and just trying to stay out of trouble?
Yes and no. Obviously, with my teammates, the first rule of racing is always don't hit your teammates, and especially if they're in a championship battle, right? Sorry. As for the other competitors, obviously don't crash into them or anything, but I'm going to try to help my teammates where I can. With that being said, I'm not sure I'm running any more rounds for this season. Maybe one, plus the Indy 500. We'll see. But for now, just doing these as one-offs, trying to see where we're on setups and having some fun.
Certainly having fun winning at Road America, getting the job done here at the National Park of Speed. Christian, thanks so much. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, man. Road America never disappoints. I mean, again, not a huge field tonight, but it didn't seem to matter. There was just great fights all the way through the race, some strategy components. IndyCar racing and iRacing is in a really great place right now. We head to one of my favorite, big tracks for the Indy cars here in a couple of weeks, and then one of my favorite road course combinations with these cars back to Mid-Ohio. So the next couple of weeks up, sort of Midwest, Northeast, there's a lot of great racing coming up shortly.
Yeah, especially again with this points battle, as awesome as it is. I mean, we can't really understate it, right? We got potentially 4 or 5 drivers in this championship fight, and it's only going to get hotter, especially as you get inch closer and closer to Indianapolis and the Indianapolis 500 for the Indy Elite Series. So can't wait to see what the rest of these weeks got in store, especially heading to the Tricky Triangle.
Excited to do it in Pocono. March 9th is our next event. It'll be a couple of weeks. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle Heyer, Finney DeCuna, bringing you the action for the IndyCar Oval Elite Series. We'll see you next time right here on Sim TV.